was amazed by this man who just spoke in a language I did not understand. It was only later, afterwards, that I realized that this man was someone who stood up for people, who, when he came to the city of New York, refused to reside in a glorious hotel, but came to the Hotel Teresa in Harlem, New York. It was at that time, when I was a young boy, that I began to listen to what they had to say. I realized that this man represented the people of Cuba, and what they stood for was resistance to tyranny, resistance to a power that is known, the imperial power of the United States. And they had the ability to stand up in spite of the forces used against them. A few years later, as I heard and discovered more about the people in Cuba, I discovered not only that they stood and resisted the United States, but they stood in solidarity with freedom fighters throughout the world. It was then at that young age I recognized and heard that they sent medical people to third world countries, that they sent workers and soldiers to fight for liberation in the continent of Africa. That I realized that this people, the Cuban people, were standing for freedom in spite of all that we hear from our mass media. I think it's important for us to remember that the struggle for freedom is an endless one. We heard this morning from John, who has been advocating for this for 30 years. We heard this morning from a young activist who is recently engaged in the struggle for the recognition and freedom of the people in Cuba. No matter whether you've been in this struggle for 30 seconds or 30 years, it is a struggle in which we are united with freedom-loving people throughout the world. And so I conclude by saying that regardless of the struggle and the hardship we face, we must remember the recognition and the strength of the people on that island 90 miles off of the coast of Florida, who have been able to say for these 60 years, we stand as freedom-loving people, and regardless of what you say or what you do, we stand in solidarity with the freedom struggle of all people throughout the world. Thank you so much.